I've never heard her say that, actually. I mean, I'm not saying she hasn't said it, but I've never heard her say that before. Like, she did, like, you know what I'm saying? My guess is Erica Kirk just told, in that meeting, they must have told Candace something verifiable that was like, now Candace like, okay. So, all right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. Everybody's been hitting me up. They're like, are you going to react to Candace's episode after she met with Erica Kirk? And I'm like, yeah, I like success. I like YouTube. And of course I'm going to do that. Everybody is waiting on bated breath. What's Jesse going to say? Did she betray her audience? I'm just kidding. But I've been hearing a lot of things back and forth where people are like, oh my God, her energy has completely changed. You know, they're like, obviously she took money. You know, she got the call, and now she knows she needs to shut her face. I'm like, I mean, yeah, or you have two sides arguing about a thing, a very passionate thing, and they had not talked to each other. Now, I have a feeling that the broad consensus is going to be like, Candace punked out, you know, and I say that just because I've been hearing a bunch of people saying that. And you know what? I'm going to save that conversation because that part is interesting, and I will just kind of leave it at this because we have some actual real drama to talk about, you know, later on, because she talks about a hit piece that was on her in the New York Times, and then she goes at Tim Pool again. But and then we'll talk about Erica Kirk at the end and how that went. But nonetheless, right, I will just say that generally speaking, right, when two sides are arguing over a thing that they don't have any idea what's going on, and then you get into the same room and you start addressing each other's concerns, like even if you can't agree on things, they at least start looking more human to you because they can at least explain what was going on their side when they said this thing or that thing or whatever, you know? Like, humans are not, generally speaking, wired for face-to-face conflict if they're normal, emotionally intelligent people. Like, you don't want conflict with people when they're standing in front of you. You want, you know, like, I like to, you know, what's the right word? I like this platform to attack people because, you know, I can choose selectively who I think deserves it, and I'll get them, you know, I'll get them. But absent a really good reason, I don't know. I don't find myself super mad at people in general. Now, we are going to get into it. Actually, you know what? We're just going to do this right now. You know, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. And by the way, subscribe, like this video, all of those things, and check out Angela Rose's page because I went on Angela Rose's show, and I also am going to be either have released a video last night of me schooling her on the landing, not being real, or it will be forthcoming today. One way or the other, you're going to get to see me and her debate over whether or not the United States actually landed where we said that we did. You know what I mean? Yeah, so go check that out. And let's get into this thing. All right, I'm calling an audible, and we are going to look at the Erica Kirk stuff first. And I have a big reveal for you guys to start off right now, right after you've subscribed to the channel and liked the video. But something real big just happened, and we're going to start with the Erica Kirk meeting. What if I told you that the person that I just paused that for calling me, which was an unknown number, was Hunter Kozak? And the only reason I answered an unknown number is because I may or may not have been waiting for a call from some people whose, you know, calls you definitely fucking take when they call. And yeah, I just talked to Hunter Kozak. For now, I'm just going to leave it at that. For now. Anyway, I don't even remember what on earth I was talking about. I guess I could have looked it up, but I am just going to press play and try to continue to speak while thinking 1,000 thoughts.
And he obviously knew how easy it was to get up to that rooftop, which is terrifying.
It really is. And look, you know, one of the other things that's being pushed around for a long time was that, you know, TPUSA, both the local chapter and you guys, didn't advertise this event till a couple days prior to. Now, the insinuation there is that doesn't give Tyler enough time to plan for this. And what we found out with a little bit of, I don't know, 20, not even 5 minutes of Googling.
So Gary Melton is from Paramount. I just realized, I just put this together. That's from, he's from Paramount Tactical, and he has been very critical of Candace. He's, you know, I generally see, I like match energy. He's like a serious guy. And I don't think that he's taking money. Would be my guess. He doesn't come off as disingenuous to me when I've watched him. I just think he I think he just I think he like heavily disagrees with her, and I think he thinks that she's grifting, which I never have thought that. I've always thought that she absolutely most likely believes exactly what she's saying. The only one where I was like, what, was when she said the U.S. government is definitely involved. And then the following episode, I was like, how would that be a definite U.S. government involvement? That's literally the only time I had ever had that feeling about anything she was doing.
Look, you guys had already put out on your website as early as August 27th. So we have at least almost a full 2 weeks prior to this, that not only the time of the event, but the location, the exact location of the UVU courtyard. So when you have over 10 days of planning, and it sounds like that Tyler already was familiar with the campus to begin with, like a lot of the mystery of this starts to go out the window.
Well, and here's the other thing too, that I've talked to you guys about a million times, is that you had Sky Valdez, who, did the, what do you call it? Like Sky Valdez did the song, Charlie Kirk Dead at 31, that was posted 3 weeks before Charlie Kirk got killed. And then on the same day, I believe it's, if not the same day, within 48 hours, one way or the other, put up a drawing or painting of a shooter in a prone position with a rifle right next to them. And it said roof. And in the backdrop, there is a mountain range that is literally absolutely 100% surgically identical to the mountain range of the perch where the shot was taken from. Like if you took like the drawing or painting or whatever, and then put it on top of the picture, it is the same mountain range for sure, looking from that direction. It's like, I don't know. I mean, unless we're in some kind of simulation or whatever, like there's a lot of coincidences that are very hard for me to swallow.
And it starts to really conform with what is exactly being proposed by the state of Utah and the FBI in the charging documents.
Yeah, and we can attest, Andrew Cipher, who's our head of field, Charlie sometimes throw the events out, 7-10 days in advance. If something opened up in his schedule, he would be able to do these outdoor events a pretty quick turn. And so those whole that whole theory kind of goes out the window.
So unless I am mistaken, and I am not perfect, but I do feel like we worked really hard to see when this location was first revealed. The first time that we found that the courtyard was mentioned, because Charlie's speaking at events, your assumption would be they're inside, right? You have no idea where it is. So it's not like you can see whether you have a shot.
Dude, I didn't even think about that. I never even thought about that. Because, I mean, like, I've seen a lot of them outdoors. You know what? Yeah, I'm like, but I guess that's true. Like, most of them are inside, right? Like, aren't most of them inside? Like, why? Yeah, why would you do it outdoors? But I guess they have a pretty cool courtyard. It's September, so the weather's nice. You also want to set up the guy who's going to get clipped, and you have so many conspirators. They're like, of course they're going to use the outside courtyard. My brain is broken right now for obvious reasons. Trying to figure out what to do with Hunter Kozak. Can't decide. Can't decide. I need to look at some stuff. Let's continue.
The courtyard, unless Charlie speaking in the courtyard. The earliest that we found that was on September 2nd. The local media mentioned on KMYU that Charlie was speaking at UVU in the courtyard. Okay, that's the first time that we found this. If I am wrong, please tag me, because what he's referring to on August 27th that happened, which we have on our timeline as well, and this is why I love a timeline, is that TPUSA, UVU, and the local BYU chapter shared a graphic announcing that Charlie was coming to UVU, but there were absolutely no location details mentioned. So that actually does shred the idea that he could have practically gone and scaled rooftops before September 2nd. That's the first public mention, is September 2nd. So they announced the event on August 27th, as he says, no location details. And then on September 2nd, there are location details provided by local media for the first time. Prove me wrong. Okay. Prove me wrong if I'm inaccurate, because I do think that we were thorough on that.
See, you want to know, like, even she is like, Paramount Tactical has energy that's like, all right, this is like a serious person, like, I'm not going to be all, oh, really, dude? You know what I mean? Oh, really, bro? And even Candace is like, I think I got that right. Like, I'm confused. Maybe I was wrong, I don't know what it is. Like, it's rare, people who carry it like that. All right, now I do want to go back here and listen to the other half of what she said about her sit down with Erica Kirk. So let's do that real quick.
Why do I feel like the public's being gaslit on this? There's been nothing that's convincing. There are so many commentators who have gone out and said to you, it's overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming. The text messages that don't have a date, that don't even sound real, that's overwhelming. That to me feels really fake and gay. I really do want to say that to every commentator that is out there trying to tell the public and insisting that if you say it enough times it'll become real, you're actually just being dishonest. And I offered that a more honest way to communicate would be to say, we think he's involved. We feel strongly. I've said that. I think he's involved. We are very hopeful that throughout this investigation, we are going to get that concrete thing.
Dude, I actually had not heard her say that before. I've never heard her say that, actually. I mean, I'm not saying she hasn't said it, but I've never heard her say that before. Like, she did, like, you know what I'm saying? My guess is Erica Kirk just told, in that meeting, they must have told Candace something verifiable that was like, now Candace like, okay, like Tyler Robinson probably involved, right? Because the wife is going to know, okay, wow, that changes things. That changes things in a big way. Now, hey, not to, not to be sea walking around my studio, but you know who else always said he was involved? Me. I have been absolutely firm from the very beginning. I'm like, my gut has always been that it's these left-wing radicals. I just don't believe that he did it by himself. I just don't believe it at all. Okay. And that has a lot more to do with all of the people around him and the things, the circumstantial evidence and all of that, than it does with anything related to Tyler Robinson. It's just like, it just seemed obvious to me. But I've never said I don't think Tyler Robinson did this. Never. I said it's possible that Lance Twiggs, his roommate, was the real shooter and, was the coke, whatever. I think that it's totally possible Lance Twiggs was on site that day. But yeah, I've never heard Candace say she thinks that Tyler Robinson is involved. That's a big development.
And that's where we're at right now. That's just the stage that we are at. That is not what we are getting from them. That is like, I just feel like that's really important to let you guys know. Let the gaslighting stop. They have what you have. Okay. There is nothing else. They are in an investigative stage. Erica has been named as the victim. They will know more in this May hearing, which is the.
Oh, okay. So never mind. They don't have any additional information, but yeah, I don't know. Have you, I might be completely missing it, but I don't know. I didn't think that Candace had ever said that she thought that Tyler Robinson was involved. That's why I kept saying, I'm like, just because I disagree with her on this doesn't mean, whatever. Like I thought her and I disagreed on this, but apparently not. I knew she's smart, dude. You know what I mean?
Probable cause hearing. That's what the lawyer told me. It's probable cause hearing. And that's when they will see the evidence. That's when they get to present the evidence, why they are going to stand there before a judge and be like, yes, we need to move this forward. It's not just an affidavit. We're not pulling together scraps. We have concrete evidence. Until then, okay, until we all get on the same page and understand what else they have, I am very confident stating the opposite of all of my, I guess, well-paid peers in that I don't believe that Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger. And what I also...
Okay. See, and I'm kind of like, I just have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know where she would get that from, like being confident that he didn't pull the trigger. Like, we don't have any information. You know what I mean? We have no information. How would you know?
Also said to them was, and I said this in front of the lawyer because I don't know why I'm like this. I was like, you might need a new lawyer. I was like, because this person's trying to sell to you that this is solid. One of the rules that me and my husband have is that if you have a lawyer that tells you like you're 100% going to win, it's very clear that you're going to win, you need a new lawyer. Okay, that's a cheerleader. That's not a lawyer. A lawyer.
That's a fact. I mean, if they say 100%, if they tell you have a really strong case, like, look, we have a really strong case here, and here's why, and then, okay, so I agree with her in like conceptually, but just to take it a level deeper, not that I have had the experience that she has had in terms of this stuff, but like, I have some experience. It's like if they explain to you why your case is so strong and then you understand it, like you understand how the law is applied, and then so you can wrap your brain around why your case is so strong, then that's a good lawyer, But if they say 100%, no. Like usually, right? Usually 100% is not legit. Especially, well, in her case, for sure it's not, because these powerful people, they'll just like, the law doesn't matter. It's like, dude, that's not even a crime. That statute of limitations, whatever. They're like, they'll just literally call it some other crime and just convict or, rule against them. Oh yeah, because Donald Trump definitely, whatever her name is, the Kookaloo, who said that he, in the Law and Order SVU in the fucking dressing room or whatever 800 years ago when she was 50 already. It's like Donald Trump actually was not alive yet the year that you said that he took you in that dressing room. She's like, but he was. They're all, he wasn't though. Okay, you say this happened in the 1900s. 1900. You were obviously alive because you're 150 years old, but he wasn't. But we're still going to rule in your favor because that's how this goes. All right, let's move on to the next phase of this thing, which is the hit piece that New York Post did on her. So this is her talking about the New York Post's latest hit piece, and let's listen to it.
Case in point, by the way, New York Post does this article today. We were actually laughing, okay? Like, inside Candace Owens' sadistic and dangerous world, monetizing baseless conspiracies. This is after, by the way, they changed my husband's Wikipedia and said that he was a Qatari, like he had a Qatari passport or citizenship. I don't think my husband's ever even flown over Qatar. I could be wrong, but I don't think I know he's never been to Qatar. I don't think he's ever flown over Qatar. And they're just making it up, and then they make it trend no matter what it is. And I'm like, this is happening. It's like a psychological operation because they're trying to keep us constantly responding as opposed to focusing on our investigation, which is why I spent this weekend and I just kept down on the Egyptian planes because it's completely crazy. And when you see a media storm like this, it can only be happening because Zionists are locking arms and going attack because they by and large control the media. They just do. Okay, one way or the other, Zionists control the empire media.
Would anybody disagree with that? I mean, like, would anybody disagree with that? The thing is like when people used to say that, there used to be a fair amount of research for people to do to be able to verify a claim like that. You know what I mean? It's like, well, geez, I mean, the media is huge. It's like, yeah, you're right. It was however many years, it is in this hypothetical scenario that we're talking about. However, in 2025/6, there are how many companies that own essentially the entire media apparatus? 6. And that was actually a couple of years ago. It's possible that that's less now, like Netflix is acquiring time or whatever it is. What is it? Who cares? Okay. It's gotten smaller, not more diverse. So if you want to figure out like who owns the mainstream media, it ain't hard, man. Like, it ain't hard. It's like calling people racist if they objectively note that like there are more black NFL players than there are like Mexican NFL players. It's like, Jesus. Are you serious, Jess? What did you say? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it seems that, American and like black Americans seem to be better at football per capita than white Americans. That's unbelievably racist. Is it? Yes, it is. Is it though? Yes. I mean, blacks make up 13% of the population and like 80% of the NBA and NFL. Right. So by and large, they're better athletes than like white athletes who, if you're in a sport like football and basketball, racism, basically the exact same thing. If you try to push back on the fact that what she said is accurate.
And they are scared about something in this investigation. We've noticed that from the very beginning. So,
and by the way, the Egyptian plane thing is super fucking weird. Is super weird. An Egyptian plane that follows Erica Kirk around everywhere. Anyway.
They wrote in this article, the New York Post, just to give you an example of how insane this is. They said they had an inside source that told them that while I was at the Daily Wire, I just fought with people from the very source that in my first week, I threw my car keys at a producer and expected them to park my car. That sentence genuinely made me laugh so hard because I never once in the entire time that I worked for the Daily Wire did I ever drive my car to work. Okay. I just didn't. They had a driver that took me there. So I don't know why I would suddenly take the driver's keys and then throw it at somebody. But quite literally, I never drove through Daily Wire.
Honestly, you want to know what that is? My hypothesis is that is them showing her, like, because that's like a pretty specific thing, and it's a thing that I'm sure that they specifically verified that she didn't even drive. That's them saying, like, we can say whatever we want about you. There's nothing you can do. You know what I mean? Like why make that up? She threw her keys at someone and was like, park it. Like, you know, like making her out to be an elitist, but there's a million ways that they could do that. They chose to do car keys, and she never drove there, and she had a driver. Like, that seems like a message. I'll give you another perfect example of something like this. Okay. So, good buddy of mine, another YouTuber who you guys may know who I'm referencing. I don't know, like, just due to the nature of the conversation, I'll just tell you, like, I'll keep it's JD, dude. Okay. So JD was talking about Scientology on his show, right? Like, he talked about Scientology and said things that are just factually accurate, you know, in a way that was so aggressive that apparently let me tell you exactly how this happened. Was he hit me up, or he told our group chat that something about Scientology, and I just responded because I was traveling, so I apparently didn't read it very well, and I was like, dude, I know an embarrassing amount about Scientology. And so he hit me on the side. He's like, hey, man, how likely do you think it is that Scientologists will come after me? And I'm like, they have so many people to deal with now because there's so many channels that pound them. I'm like, you're probably fine, but blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I got a Scientology package in the mail to my house, to my legal name, and like, that just happened. And I'm like, oh, that changes things dramatically. I'm like, that's a very different thing. That's a warning from Scientology, 100%, absolutely, for sure. That means they know who you are, they know your name, they know where you live, and if you continue to talk about them, they're going to go through the steps that they go through. And as confident as I know gravity exists, that is a fact. Okay, like, that is a warning from them. That is 100% what that was. And if he would have, you know, if he decides to keep going at him, there are a few things. I'm like, this is what you can expect, and essentially, it's a lock. And I'm like, it's up to you if you want to do it or not. But it's like that. It's literally almost like, you don't need to like call someone to send him a message. You know what I mean? The New York Post is like, oh yeah, she threw her keys at an underling because she's such an elitist psycho. It's like, okay, you know, like what's Scientology's message? Is they're like, we know who you are, and you can keep talking about us, but then things escalate from here. And with Candace, they're like, we can literally get away. We can say anything we want about you, and there's nothing you can do.
So it's just, when I say fan fiction, I'm like, this is fan fiction. Secondly, they say I did that to a producer, and that I demanded others do my research. Could not be further from the truth. I have always done my own shows. I can't read a script. I riff my shows. I think that's pretty obvious.
Me too, dude. I can't read a script for shit either. This is what I'm saying. I've always felt connected to her. Like, I like look at her. I'm like, this is a kindred spirit right there. So, and if you guys hate on Candace, that's fine, dude. But like, fundamental wiring, very similar. I can't read scripts. Anybody who has ever worked with me at like in my regular life, like when I was forced into doing like during the very challenging portion of my life, when I was forced into an enterprise software sales job, which paid fine, you know, it was good, but like, I am not good at communicating off of like slide decks. It's like my brain breaks. This is what I'm built to do. This is irrelevant.
That I demanded a huge studio, attempted to use their PR firm to get the cover of People magazine, like full fan fiction. There's not even a shred. I don't even think we ever had a conversation about People magazine, because that would not be a normal outlet for any conservatives. That I wanted to be on the cover.
Okay, so they lied about her. Summarized. Now let's look at the Tim Pool thing, because this is interesting. All right, let's go ahead and do the Tim Pool portion of this thing.
But further to sort of them just creating and making things up, Tim Pool has now gone out and extraordinarily claimed that I have the same security as Charlie Kirk, and that I'm a fraud, and that actually I have the exact same security. You will recall that Tim just said a week ago that I have no security. Okay.
He definitely did say that. And by the way, I haven't seen this yet. He definitely said that. He said that she had one fat guy as her security. And by the way, I think it's fair to say Tim Pool must have taken money now, right? Like, I mean, I don't know, but Why would he be making such a, unless maybe he's just getting a mountain of views talking about Candace? Like, I guess it's possible he didn't take the money. Like, you know, it's like, oh, when I go to war with Candace, I get a lot of views. I mean, it's, listen, when I cover Candace, I get a lot of views as I do it. But I mean, I also am interested. But, you know, in this business, you go where the views are, right?
Hey, this is Tim Pool a week ago.
She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you told me? She has no security. She doesn't deal with the we have to deal with. She's a piece of
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh, yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give two No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this.
I don't know why sometimes, like, when, like, if I'm in a volcanically angry mood, which I am right now, other people being angry is hilarious to me. I don't know why. Oh, by the way, the reason I'm volcanic right now is because I took 3 hours today going through with a fine-tooth comb the video that I did with the scientist who says he can prove that Charlie Kirk was not actually murdered. And I'm talking surgical with my censored so that there was nothing on there that could get the video demonetized. I don't even care about the money on that video. I just don't want to have my channel hurt again because I am just out of the doghouse and they fucking demonetized it again, dude. Like, literally, I cannot explain to you how painstaking what I went through was. Hours to make sure, for sure, there's no way that this could go bad, and they did it anyway, dude. Anyway, now I want to watch Tim Pool yell because that makes me laugh.
You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a about her security.
So that was like Tim last Monday. This is Tim who said I had no security except for one fat guy, which I told you was not true. Now he's saying this. Take a listen.
Okay. I'll say things that I probably shouldn't say, but I'm going to say, 'cause I always get super heated on this. Candace Owens has the same security team as Turning Point and Charlie Kirk did. She's lying. She has the same security people. I've been digging into this. I've been meeting with people and talking with them. And I shouldn't say too much because there's more that's going to be coming out soon. Because rest assured, people are filing legal paperwork against her. Candace has the same security team or has used the same security companies and the same security personnel as Charlie and Erica did. So when she comes out and is questioning them, she is lying outright. Now, I've invited many of these people to come on. We'll see what happens. We'll see when they can. The issue is, the moment Candace goes on her show to millions of people and lies, litigation begins. And what happens when litigation begins? People don't do interviews about it. She is exploiting this, and she knows she is, to keep people wrapped up in this insanity.
Tim versus Tim.
Dude, I just don't. Can she sue him if he's making things up? You know what I mean? Like, because honestly, if I see a potential defamation case here, like, I don't think it's going in the direction of like Candace defaming him. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, she's lying. If she can prove that, I mean, defamation's impossible anyway, dude. You know, I just don't understand why he's so angry. Except that now he's on another show, you know, like that's not his show. He's on another show talking. So now I feel like maybe, hey, you hate her anyway, right? You hate her anyway. She said that you have financial trouble. You want me to make your problems go away, good boy? Listen, if it's money that you need, we got all of that in the world. We can just make as much of that as you want. You know, there's no number too big for us to fix you up. What are you in the whole $3 million? All $3 million. I spent triple that on my like junk plane that I let my kids use. Jesus, you're broke. You think you're successful? Now go dance like a monkey. Okay? Go dance like a monkey and I'll give you more money. Tell her she's the worst. I'm just kidding. But I'm not. I don't know if he took money, but he seems very angry.
Undefeated. And what I will also say is that's all a lie. It's almost like they have just sent a call, like they're getting too close and just said, I don't care what you write. I don't care if it's complete fiction. Make it believable. Say her husband beats her. Say her, like it's coming after my husband. They're coming after me and they're making stuff up. I have never employed the same security team as Charlie Kirk, ever.
Oh, so that's just made up. Wait, so who's lying now? Right? You just accused her of lying and then followed that with an overt, outright lie about her. So, I don't know, dude. Like, credibility on fleek, dog. Credibility on fleek. Let's go ahead and continue, though, because this is getting fun now. I'm feeling better, actually.
We went our separate ways early. Actually, there was, it's obviously been publicized, before he had Schaefer Security. And Schaefer Security, which was run by Greg Schaefer, who has issued a public statement, they had Dan Flood and Brian Harpool working for them initially. I told Charlie I did not like the security apparatus. I got my own security separate from Charlie from the very beginning, okay? That's a fact. It just is a fact. There's no way to undo that fact. Trying to do this strategy of you're going to get sued is just threatening somebody. If there was any truth to that, you can't just file legal paperwork. You have to send a cease and desist. You have to say, something you said on your show was untrue. Can you please correct this? Okay. And if I ignore that, as I did with Brigitte, because I told the truth, as I did with Kim Clasey, because I told the truth, then you have the grounds to file something. We have received no cease and desist from Charlie's Security whatsoever. Over what? I mean, the audacity that you're filing a lawsuit and someone got murdered on your watch because I accurately said that the Brian Harpool, the message he showed belonged to Dan Flood. It did. And that they didn't do a walkthrough on that day. They didn't. Like, and if something I'm getting wrong and you'd like to show me that actually you did, send it over. We're only interested in getting to the truth, and we're not getting it. We're certainly not expecting to get it from Tim Pool. That is crazy. That's just crazy town. But I do think that is right now the Zionist strategy, and that's why I want to encourage you guys to stay focused. Huachuca, which we're going to have a lot on tomorrow, because there is something there.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, dude, it's a tough sell for me that he did not something didn't change in terms of what's driving his talk tracks and his behavior. You know what I mean? Just seems like that is a fact. Now let's listen to her talk about TPUSA's live stream during her sit down with Erica Kirk, because as I understand it, they had both agreed no trash talk, going into it or after or whatever. And I don't know what they're going to say here, but I watched a video earlier that I'm pretty sure that they, didn't do what they said they were going to do.
Alarm. Something else that I wanted to show you, by the way, I thought we were not supposed to be doing live streams while we were speaking, but Turning Point, I guess, has their daily show, but that I didn't feel like that was communicated to me. It felt like a ceasefire and then it got violated, but they had an interesting conversation on their show yesterday, on the Charlie Kirk show, about this trial, the upcoming trial, about Tyler Robinson, and here is what they had to say. Take a listen.
So this is straight from the charging document. It says Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders.
By the way, I'm very glad that I'm watching this because So I had alluded to something that I was going to finally be able to talk about, and I actually am definitely not allowed to talk about it now, but I would just like to really slam home that my opinion of who did this is definitely in line with who they are, not by himself, right? Just not by himself.
Resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a, quote, stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. And when you see how easy that rooftop access is, you start to kind of put one and one together, and you realize that Robinson had a plan that he was going to ultimately take advantage of.
Yeah, what's crazy about that too is there was also a student from the Unfuck America tour who was going to be there, and it's just crazy that he would be the one up there asking the final question. Hang on.